Yo, what's going on, guys? So today we're going to be working with lower back pain and mid back pain. So the interesting thing is like we have our friend here, and you can see that there's a lot of tension right in this area, and then on the lower area on this side. Right here, not as much tension, but if we go up just a little bit right here, you can see that mound just causing a lot of tension right here in the mid back. And over here, it's weird because you don't really see, actually you do see a little bit over here, but on this lower portion you really don't, you see a lot more tension on this side than you do on this side. So right there, all of that just looks really, really tense. So what we're going to do is we're just going to work through, and we're first just going to get some oil and work it around, and then in a moment we're going to use a new tool today that we haven't used before, or we have been, but I haven't really talked about it. Ooh. So right here, so this is the Myonest right here. I'm pretty sure it's white label. You might be able to find it cheaper from other people, but in the event that you want to just get the same one that I'm using from the same provider, it's all in my link online. But I really like this tool. It's really, really powerful. And it has different heads that you can use, but mostly what I use is this one and then this one right here. But it's a good way to polish and warm up the body. I usually use it in the intro of the session so that way it doesn't take up as much time. So normally I have to warm up the body. We gotta work over the same area a lot. And with this, it allows me to warm up the area a lot quicker, get it to relax down. And as soon as it's relaxed, then we can immediately go into some more deeper pressure. How's it feeling?
So good. I don't think we've used this tool before.
Nope, this is a new one. And then so this is the other one I like. Oh yeah, you felt that one, right? Now while I do like this tool for the general warm-up process, you could see how she kind of reacted to the pressure from this piece right here. And this is where I still prefer the 10 unit. So while this is good for like a nice warm-up, when I'm really, really detailing, I really like to use that 10 unit just a little bit more. There we go. Just like that. So now we're going to go over to the 10. So right here we're going to work on this lower back side, and we're moving in with the 10. Now this is also a new unit that they sent me. This one is more for general. It's still more precise than the last unit that we were using from Myo. But considering that I'm going for more a hybrid approach to massage, this helps out to kind of ease the tension. You want to bring your arm down a little bit so that way you can relax it.
Okay,
Yeah, however you feel more relaxed. And right here, then you can actually see that ball that you have here on the lower back. Can you feel it?
Mm-hmm. It feels ticklish.
Yeah. And as we're letting that do its thing, we're going to use the age-away heated scraper. Allow it to heat up, and this thing gets pretty hot. It's like a mobile hot stone set. Just wherever you go, you have that. You have the ability to scrape, and you have the ability to also bring heat. There we go. Now another thing is that I can feel that there's still like a little bit of tension underneath this portion of the erector spinae. So what I'll do sometimes is that I will get the client's leg and I will figure 4 and then bring the knee up so that way it opens up the hip a little bit. And right here, I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. There we go. So right here, you can see that the hip is kind of more upwards because the knee on this side is pointed out. And what this does is that it opens up the erector spinae so that way I can get from a little bit more deeper angle. And you can see right here how that deep angle works. Because before, like while it looked like I could get in and I can relax the area, now I can really dig in a different angle and get these paraspinal muscles to go ahead and relax. And I'm putting them in a state of tension. And having that is important so that way, okay, this is the area where it's going to hurt, typically for a person. So then we kind of we can adjust the leg according so. And then work the different angles. So it's the same thing that I do for the shoulder. Sometimes we'll put the shoulder to the side of the body, and then we'll work all the way around. And then we'll move the shoulder to the outside of the body, and then we'll move the shoulder. We'll bring the arm behind the back, and so it'll open up the shoulder. And so you put the arm in different positions, and as you put the arm in different positions, it brings out this shoulder area, and it'll show you different tensions. And sometimes when you're just hanging the arm off the table, you know, in the front portion of the table, then you're able to get this trapezius a lot easier. And you can see right here her trapezius is pretty tight. And if it kind of almost correlates with this whole entire erector spinae tension that we're seeing, and then this ball that you can obviously see right here in this lower back. So now we're going to switch over. We're going to go into the heated scraper, bringing in the heat. All the way up. How's the heat feel?
So good. That's good.
Good, good. And it's almost really, it's a really stubborn area right here. So we're probably going to heat it up, see how it reacts, and then we are going to move in with some Tuxin therapy, which is hammer therapy. It's a form of tie therapy. It's forcing the fascia back into place. And we're really just trying to provide a parasympathetic response. And why does that happen? Why does that occur with Tuxin therapy? The studies are still evolving, so the science, we don't really know exactly why. Like I'm sure there's some ideas and theories, but to say that anyone knows would probably be incorrect at this point, because you still have the data to prove it. And it doesn't mean it's incorrect, right? I mean, it's just unproven. Another example is that for the longest time, people would say, oh, don't ever massage the IT band because it's a tendon. And then in recent studies, we found out that the IT band is actually a fascia aponeurosis mixed with tendon-like properties, which is a whole thing of itself. And look at that. You can already see that ball starting to go down. But you can see when I go up, you can see it more visibly now. And then when I come down here, it starts to dissipate. But when I come back up, now we're starting to see like the true culprit right here. And how long has this gradually been getting worse and worse for you?
I would say within the last 2 to 4 weeks is when I started kind of noticing like tightness in my back. I have been stretching a little bit more, so I don't know if that's making it, you know,
better
or like more noticeable. Like, oh, maybe it's just. I've also been hitting back a little bit more.
Yeah.
Remember, we were doing a little bit more back.
Yeah,
we were
rear delt.
delts and
Boom. That's looking really good. Love seeing that. And let's freaking trace it out. I'm gonna stand up now and we're gonna just move over like this. And so this is not from just like the 4 weeks, I'm assuming, because it's something that's very dense. It feels very dense, but it's just something that's prevalent. So while you may feel okay while lifting, sometimes you have to listen to those little small whispers that your body does, so that way it doesn't get like bad. I'm really grateful that you found the tension early, but other people, they might be going on with this and then they go another 6-7 years and then eventually they can't move because their back freezes up.
No, I definitely listen to my body very closely, but some things, like you said, they're whispers, so you don't hear them right away, and then suddenly you're like, oh wow, my lower back really hurts, or I feel.
I feel tension now.
When did that happen?
And up here now you can see.
Oh, shit. It's crazy that I feel it moving up. Like I feel the tension as you're pushing.
And it just means that it roots, right? So it starts on the lower back, and then it causes more tension to the upper back, into the trap, up into the neck area. And you see we're holding this angle, and it's already looking way more relaxed, even with a deep angling of the leg right here. Let's see, we can't see. Of the leg right here, opening up this hip, putting the paraspinals into a uncomfortable position, but yet now we're not seeing any mounding, we're not seeing any rounding. You can see a little bit of tension of the upper back, but check this out. Whenever we bring the leg back into a neutral position, and then we go through right here, it just totally feels so much more relaxed. And now you can see that difference, right? So visibly, we're looking at our visual cues right here. You see how it's a lot more relaxed. And as I'm pulling on this side, you can see the fascia start to activate over here to try to stabilize. See that right there? All that. And it looks like if you pay attention, it looks like it goes through her teres major and then comes in and up into the teres minor, and it can put some pressure on that serratus anterior and also the shoulder as well. But that is looking pretty fantastic. So next thing what we're going to do, we're going to bring the leg back out, getting that stress back on, and now what we're going to do is we're going to do cupping. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to get the cups on. And so what I'm doing is I'm going to be using fire, putting it in the cup, and then putting it on.
I don't think I've done these yet. I like
No?
that. No.
So here we go. And depending on how tight you want them, you put the flame in longer. Actually, for this one, I'm going to go a little bit bigger. There we go. That one feels weak. There we go. Is that good?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so now we're going to leave these cups on for 5 minutes. While we're waiting for those cups to do their thing, we're going to keep working, and we're going to work right here to this mid to lower back right here. And you can actually see the fascia moving with me, and you see it pull. One of the cool things is that the fascia connects over everything, so it goes over the spine, and this is why you see the skin pull the way that it does, is because the fascia doesn't really just connect just to one muscle. So when people say, oh, you got a muscle knot, or muscle knots don't exist, I would agree with them that muscle knots don't exist, but it also depends on the factor of what you define as a knot. For example, I see the idea of fascia and densification and the adherence of dense fascia sticking to one another, causing restriction to the range of motion. I see that as a knot, but it just depends on what the person defines it as a knot. All of the factors of like this, that, then, I really don't care. I usually don't care about it when I'm working with a client. I mostly just care about, hey, do they feel better? What's the response? The range of motion, is it increasing? Is their quality of life increasing? And that is usually enough data for me to say, hey, this is worth doing again for another client, or maybe on the next round, not using it. And another factor is that while this might work for some person, it may not work for everybody. So you work with what's in front of you. You don't really go by data, and then that can also go into the factor of what, depending on what kind of study is being done. Sometimes they will say something doesn't have enough data, and it's because for one person it may work and for another it may not, and so they have to think of the idea that it possibly is placebo. For example, cupping. They thought cupping for a while was a placebo, and then they found out, oh, well, it's pulling apart fascia. Fascia has densification, and recently they just found out that hyaluronic acid inside of the fascia is the liquid that's being manipulated, because prior to, they believed that fascia could only be manipulated with 1.5 tons of force, which is impossible for a single hand to do, or a palm. And so, thus, how could you get such a dramatic tissue change? And that's always a difficult thing, is like, okay, so how is it that we're getting tissue change? And then they found out that the liquid inside of the fascia is actually what is taking a huge percentage less of the 1.5 tons. And then also the thixotrophic effect that comes from our bodies helps to basically liquefy the hyaluronic acid and allow it to be more malleable and more likely to be manipulated. And so that's what we're doing. We're using vibration, which is using a high frequency to get that parasympathetic to rest and relax. We're using the hands to kind of polish in, get that thixotrophic effect. Or if we're not using the hand, we could use the heated scraper, which, like I said, is like our mini hot stone set. And now I'm pretty sure it's been about 5 minutes of me just ranting. So let's go ahead and take off those cups and then see how the other side is looking. Alright, so now we're going to take out the cup. And there is little to no discolorization, which means that it's actually the work that we did actually opened up quite a bit. Just like that. And then we're just going to go through, polishing, and man, that feels so relaxed. So now what I'm going to do, I did mention Tuxin. I'm not going back on that. So we are going to do light Tuxin therapy to the lower back. just light taps, and you'll be amazed at how much of a difference this makes. All my clients from whenever I work from other cities, whenever I do that, they freak out because it just makes such a huge difference. Perfect. All right, let's continue on.
Oh, that feels so good.
Okay. So now this one is actually dying. Let me switch out my scraper. And this one's dying too, but hopefully it lasts. I'm just going to continue to warm up. And as I continue to warm up, I'm waiting for the heated scraper to warm up the area, I'm waiting for the heated scraper to warm up while I'm warming up the back. All the way up into the trap. What I'm doing is I'm putting pressure upwards while also moving with my hand, and so I can kind of just get that parasympathetic response, right? We're just trying to just like zigzag it. And this is another way of, if you ever get cramps, obviously you can't reach for your back, but if you get cramps, like let's say in the hand, you go for the origin, insertion, and then wiggle back and forth opposed to one another, and it'll actually get your body to force into a parasympathetic state, and it'll actually cancel out your cramp. It's something that I have to do whenever my calf is going to cramp, or my foot, like it was yesterday, it was cramping up and I almost couldn't get out of bed, and I had a client at the top of the hour and it was at 54, so I had to figure out a way to get the cramp to stop in my foot, because it was about to get really bad and I needed to be on time. And that is origin and insertion of any muscle type. Just Google it and try to find your whatever muscle that's cramping up, and then it'll show you where it starts, where it ends, and then you just kind of grab it, and then again, opposed to one another, you just do that, and it forces the area to relax. Now what it won't do is it won't get rid of adhesions or knots or densification or whatever you want to call it, basically tension. Like, it's not going to get rid of this, but what it will do is it'll help relax those areas. And as you can see, so this is teres major right here. We're working teres minor over here and leading up to the rear delt. All the way up. Now, let's hope that this thing is now nice and warmed up. Let's hope that this thing is nice and warmed up so that way we can bring the heat. There we go. Now this upper back tension on this side is way more intense than the other side.
This is where my back shoulder is too.
Yep. So it just moved from that bad shoulder that we worked on the last session to your back. That's okay though. It's like you're not gonna get it all solved in one session. Sometimes it takes a few sessions, and it's better, right? Like we don't want to like also put you in a bad state where we put too much pressure and then you can't move, you know, like it's just, it's taking it one step at a time.
And their shoulder's way better, so it's okay.
Mm-hmm. And now your back's gonna be better. So let's get that. Mm-hmm. Man, that feels awesome.
Yeah, I don't feel that like little.
The big pull that we were feeling early.
Yeah.
It's still there a little bit right there,
Right.
but it's not as bad as it was earlier. So then the next part we go back into is we're gonna go and put the cups. Are they tight?
Mm-hmm.
Good. So now we'll leave these on for 5 minutes. Alright, so it's been 5 minutes, so we're going to go ahead and take off the cups. And work our way down to the bottom. Okay, so here we go. Oh, this is still going. Okay, so you can see the upper portion is just a little bit dark right here. All of this is looking really, really good. We need to do some more polishing of the upper back on the next go around, and you can see how it even pulls into that rear delt. But once again, I'm John of Radiate Therapeutics, guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like, a comment on your thoughts of this type of style of video if you'd like to see more. If you want some more silent work, you can always do some of that. Also, if you guys can, please subscribe if you haven't. It helps the channel grow more than you know, and it really helps to support us. So I really appreciate that. So once again, guys, I'm John of Radiate Therapeutics. We'll catch you on the next one.